All right, good afternoon, folks. I just wanted to do a video uh, giving my condolences to the family of the people that were on that sub. And now the news is starting to break now that it imploded on itself, and that's what I thought maybe that sound was, because usually in a situation like that, if there is a noise, a signal, these people are trained for SOS signals. And that's what we weren't hearing SOS signals. What we were hearing, I believe what we heard was the implosion. And the implosion of the sub goes on. It don't just stop there, folks. It might have happened at 1,300 feet, right? The implosion. Once it got past what the observation window was capable of handling the pressures, it probably imploded on itself. And I believe that's the noise that we were hearing on the radar. And as it sinks, right, it imploded on itself at 1,300, right, probably, or a little over that. But once it implodes, it don't stop there. It implodes, but once it starts sinking lower and lower, it continues to implode. The pressures of the sea continue to squeeze it until it just breaks up into nothing, just little parts everywhere. So, a sad day. Should it have happened? No, they probably should have waited and had a backup sub there. But these are billionaires, right? Now, I've seen a video last night where they were talking that this might have been a suicide mission, supposedly. The guy knew that it wasn't rated, the parts, the things that he built, that it that he knew that it wasn't up to standard. And this is what happens. Uh, it's very sad. Like I said, my condolences to the family. But now there are people, I've seen videos where these people are saying, well, they were billionaires and their family members are still alive. And if they want to recover the bodies, they can spend the money and build another sub, uh, a submersible, to retrieve the bodies, because there's no ship that'll go down that, or a sub. There's only certain subs, but they're all the way on the other side of the world. And as far as National Guard, they have uh, unmanned um, submersibles, right? So they could, but they don't have them on hand. It's not like they have them in warehouses or whatever, ready to go. So military and stuff like that, um, they have submersibles, but not anything that can go down and rescue that is close to that area. So it is horrible, but let it be a lesson, right? Let it be a lesson. If you go up in space, uh, it's hard to breathe, right? Because there's no oxygen. But when you go down into the sea, there's pressures of water, uh, and it's totally different, somewhat, right? The higher you go up, the more your blood boils or whatever, and the farther you go down, same thing. So either way, I hate to say it, it was just a bad situation, and they should have never went down without a tether line and a tether chain. Uh, would have been able to pull them up, but if it imploded on itself, there was nothing to pull up. So it's very sad. I do agree with a lot of people. Um, there was not much they can do. Once you didn't get any communication from them, they knew there was a problem. And last night, late last night, I did a video saying it imploded. Well, I didn't want to say condolences to the family. I started saying that, but I said, well, it's a little bit too soon. But I believe that It imploded on itself. That was the sounds we were hearing. And as far as the Titanic goes, yes, the Titanic still makes sounds, right? It's under pressure. When parts on the Titanic decay and rust, the pressure of the water will push that part that ever decayed in, and it'll push over. So you got the Titanic making noise. You got boats that could be miles and miles away that are working, right? Oil rigs out there in the sea that microphones will pick up. Hell, if it was an SOS sound, I didn't believe it was, because SOS is a certain tap. I think it's 3 taps and then silence for a second, then another 3 taps or something like that, and then silence. And they weren't hearing that. It was over a 30-minute duration. They were hearing kink, 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 and then it would stop. And then 30 minutes later, you would hear kink, kink, kink. And I would imagine that was the sub sinking as it imploded on itself and the rest of the parts crinkling up. I got 2 giant squirrels out here fighting right on my porch. So that's my opinion on it. I'm not a scientist. I'm not no whiz, but uh, anybody with any kind of marine thing, especially going down in a sub, would know SOS taps to let people know that they were alive. But I don't think that's what we were hearing, because the taps were pretty loud, and that sub uh, wasn't built up to specs, right? It probably was tested at a certain depth, and they figured it'd make it, right? It passed once, and we've seen this before, where these nose cones on these subs, the observation, yeah, they'll hold, but not for a certain length of time, and not pass a certain depth, right? If it's only rated for 13,000 feet, and you go down, or 1,300 feet, and you go down 5,000 feet or whatever, you've already doubled the circumference of the capacity or pressure that window, that observation window, can handle. So it probably did implode on itself. No, I'm not saying it was the window. I'm saying it could have been anything, right? It could have just imploded. It was not designed by a real group of men that knew what pressures of seas can do. And it needs to be certain metals that are used. And it has to be pressurized and tested. And it might pass 1 or 2 dives, right? But the further you go down and the longer you're down there, you're succumb to more pressure. And eventually it breaks. And that's what happens. It could have been anything, a valve. It could have been a release valve. It could have been, it just wasn't built good. And it imploded on itself. And it's horrible that we lost, what, 4 or 5 people? I know a lot of people are saying, well, they were billionaires anyways. Well, that's true. There's people making videos now saying it was a suicide mission. They knew they weren't good, and their family gets all the money. And, good God, I hope it ain't that. But anything is possible in this crazy world that we live in. Anything is possible. So, yes, I do believe it imploded last night, way before last night, before midnight. I did my video at midnight, I think it was. And the sounds we were hearing was it sinking, imploding, crinkling like a tin can. Just as it went down, it was just clink, clink, clink. It was just crinkling. Very sad. But this is, if you don't have professionals, folks, this is what happens. Right? Look what Elon Musk went through. How many rockets did he blow up? How many motors? How many, right? If you don't know what you're doing, I don't know what I'm doing. I do a lot of research on it and watching, but if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to have problems. And if you cut corners, you're definitely going to have problems. And this is what happens when you cut corners. It's like running a country. When you cut corners on running a country and providing for the citizens of America, you got chaos, havoc, rabbit, disease, famine. You got everything. So it's very sad. And once again, my condolences to the families. It's horrible. But there should be no more dives like this uh, without backup, right? You best have another sub there or a tether line hooked up to the sub. And that will only save you if you don't implode, right? If you implode, there's nothing they can do. They're going to pull you up, but it's just going to be a tin can crumpled into millions of pieces. Probably explode on itself once the pressures crush everything inside, and then it crushes everything inside like a tin can. It sucks all the air out of it, and then it releases pressures that it's created, and boom, and it blows out, and that's where it's havoc, chaos, and death occurs. So it's horrible. God rest their souls. Will they go down and get the bodies? If there's anything left. If there's anything left, right? Depending on how this thing imploded, it could have imploded very slowly, letting very small streams of water come in that were such high pressure. It cut your arm right off like a laser beam. Like a laser beam, it would cut right through you. So hopefully it was fast. I don't want to be rude talking about what they went through, but there's probably going to be a movie in the works here. I'm already working on, right? Terror at 1,300 feet, right? It'd make a great movie, but hey, what don't these days, right? It's sad that we got to make movies after madness like this happens, right? I would rather make a movie about this than some little girl or kids or woman getting kidnapped and terrorized and beaten and raped and whatever, or anybody. I don't know. Crazy way of thinking. But condolences to the family. It's very sad. It's a horrible day. And we need to get a grip on stuff, right? Everyone's just like, well, we'll just send a sub. What sub? Where? Right? There was a sub that could be there, but it was so far away. And they were working. So they had to stop what they were doing, pull their sub up, put it on the boat, and then drive out there. Yeah, they were doomed with the oxygen that they had left. They only had 21 hours, right? So even if they got there, that was a problem. Well, all I can say is I hope this is a lesson to people that Mother Nature will kill you. And don't do things without having a backup. Always have a backup plan. 4 or 5 backup plans. Once again, my condolences to the family. I hope you folks understand that this world is crazy. And some of you folks put yourselves in danger. And we put ourselves in danger every day by just voicing our opinions or the things that we think or whatever. So, condolences. Let it be a lesson. Just because you got billions of dollars does not mean you know what you're doing. Whew. And don't ever cut corners on building a submersible that's going to be down in depths of hell. All right, folks, have a great day. We got some clouds around here. I hope we get some rain. It's just been hot, muggy, crappy. Yesterday, I think, was almost 90, and it was just humid, and I was just sweating my butt off. I think I got heat stroke. All right, you folks have a great day. Debbie Fox, thanks for stopping in. I hope your day is going good, and I hope you're getting some rain out there. It might be cooling things off for you out there. My clock's charming. Someone's knocking at my door. Someone's ringing a bell. All right, folks, have a great day. Oh, God. God bless. God save their souls. And condolences to the family. Have a good day.